Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Chase at Rocky Mountain ATVMC giving you a closer look at the Moto-10 Spherical Helmet from Bell. All right everyone, thank you for checking in. So today we have the new and anticipated Bell Moto-10 Spherical. There's been a lot of anticipation around this helmet. We saw Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, Dylan Ferrandis, some guys wearing it last year for the 2020 season, and now we have it here in early 2021. I was pumped to see Bell announce this helmet because Bell, you have to admit, they've been a leader in the industry for a lot of years. They had their Moto-9 Carbon Flex, which has been a phenomenal helmet, super popular, but they don't settle. They have one-upped themselves, and now you have the Moto-10 Spherical, and there's a lot of cool technology. I had a lengthy conversation with the guys at Bell. You got things like their segmented carbon fiber shell, the spherical technology on the inside, really good venting design. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna cover everything that is unique about this and what they did to make it as safe as possible to help you decide if this should be your next helmet. So before we do that though, let's just talk about fit real quick. So always use the sizing guide on the product pages to know what size you should order. I measure for a size medium, that's what I tried on. It fits me true to size. I've had other riders try it on. So fitment is good. I will say it's a pretty snug medium. And the other thing that we noticed is that here in the front with the chin bar, and the Moto-9 Carbon Flex was kind of like this too, where the chin bar feels like it's pretty close to your face. In fact, if you look at these two helmets, I've got the Omega in this one, air brake in this one. The nose guard on these goggles is actually contacting this nose guard that you have on the Moto-10, but this is removable. So if you don't like that, you can take this piece out. Aside from that, it's very comfortable. I'm stoked to see that they're still using their magnetic cheek pads, which we're going to talk about. So all in all, fitment on this helmet really good. But keep in mind, we do have our fit guarantee, so no matter what helmet you buy, if you don't like how it fits, you can send it back in brand new unused condition. You can exchange it for the same helmet in a different size or a completely different helmet, and we'll give you free shipping on that first exchange just to make sure you're happy with what you get. Now, let's talk about price point real quick, because that is something that needs to be addressed. This is a pricey helmet. You're $800 for the standard colorways and you're $850 for the limited editions. And speaking of limited editions, that is what this colorway is right here on the table. You've got the solid black with the red hits. Now what's cool though, if you're watching this video when it first drops, that they only made 1,000 of these to begin with. And those first 1,000, that's for the entire world. So if you grab one of these soon, you'll be one of the first 1,000 to get one, and each one of these is actually numbered. So this helmet I have right here in front of me is 288 of the first 1,000 made, so pretty cool. So get yours quick if you want to be a part of that first 1,000 ever made. Now looking at it here, give me the shell. I'll admit, when I first saw the Moto-10 Spherical, I was like, I don't know, because I love how the Moto-9 Carbon Flex look. It's always been one of my favorite looking helmets, so I will admit that this design has grown on me, but I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the new shell shape that they have? But it's all done with a purpose too, and we're going to talk about that. You're DOT and Snell certified. Glad to see they kept the Snell certification. Snell is a private organization, and if you want your helmets to be Snell certified, you have to send them your helmets, and they go through their testing. Snell is known for having some of the more rigorous tests that are out there. And so there's some riders that prefer to have Snell certification. So if that's what you're after, you're still getting that with the Moto-10. 3K carbon fiber shell, segmented. That's not a word that you often hear when it comes to the shell of a helmet. You've got 3 shell sizes, but looking at it, here's what's unique. So right here along the side, you have these channels cutting. And when I first saw this, I thought it was just a design. I thought they just wanted to help to look cool, but it actually serves a purpose. So if you look at the back here, this is where you're gonna see it the most. You see how you have these two pieces right here that connect? Well, what they've done is you have the main shell of the helmet, and then you have this top piece that is actually bonded onto it. So it's really, you could say, a 2-piece carbon fiber shell, and here's why they did that. So underneath this, if I were to take this top piece of this carbon fiber off, you would see these massive exhaust vents that are underneath there. And it's important, if you want to have a helmet to breathe well, you've got to get the hot air out. So underneath this, they have massive exhaust vents that go down, and then also, you can actually see that there is a small gap between this upper piece and the lower shell to help that hot air escape. So that's the first reason for that segmented shell, is just ventilation. The other is impact absorption. Talking to them at Bell, what they explained to me is that having this 2-piece design actually helps absorb more impact than if you were to have just a single piece carbon fiber shell. So you're getting safety with impact absorption, and it's gonna help with the breathability of the helmet, which is really cool. You also notice here in the front, in the eye port area, you've got these massive vents that are taking a lot of air and driving it through that helmet. When we pull all the guts out of this helmet, you're gonna see there's a lot of channels that are cut into the EPS liner to help get as much air circulating as possible. You've got their Flying Bridge visor. So similar to the Moto-9 Carbon Flex, you don't have a center screw up on top. You're just gonna have the two on the sides. What I do like about these though is that you have these little tabs that just flip up. So it just makes it really easy to loosen or tighten this visor if you do want to adjust it. But you do have some adjustability with it, so I can press it down if I want to and then bring it back up. And it is a breakaway design. In fact, I've seen it in the 2021 season. I've seen riders go down wearing this helmet, and sometimes they get up, you see the visor is basically straight up in the air. That's what you want. You want a visor to break away in the event if you go down, so it's not putting any extra forces on your head or to the neck. That's your visor. As far as the eye port goes, another big deal with this is just the peripheral vision. So they've actually increased just the size of the eye port. It comes way back on the side of the helmet. In fact, when you look at the air brake in the Omega especially, it's known for being one of the wider goggles. You can see that there's still plenty of room between where the shell, the helmet ends, and then the goggle frame. So they just want to make a good amount of room for the goggles to fit, but also just give you as much vision as possible. So another unique feature there. Last thing we'll point out before we get to the inside is right here on the bottom, you have these bumpers, and they call them NMR, which stands for no missed races. And this is EPP. And so this is just to be a bumper for your collarbones. So if you go down, they want to have some impact absorption there. And what's unique about EPP, it stands for expanded polypropylene, is that it absorbs impact like EPS does, which is on the inside, but it retains its shape. So if you're grabbing your helmet, you're squeezing onto this, if you're just hanging it from your handlebars, you don't have to worry about this compressing and then not returning. So you've got EPP here, again, as an absorber for your collarbone. That's the outside. Let's show you what's going on in the inside here. So, magnetic chin strap. Very happy to see that they kept that. Just makes putting this on and off a whole lot easier. I'm a big fan of that. You don't have to try and find any snap when you're doing this up. And then the cheek pads are awesome. It's still the magnetic cheek pad, so it's MERS, Magnifusion Emergency Removal Cheek Pads, and I love how easy it is to take these in and out. It's a simple thing, but I love it. You've got the Virus Cool J cheek pads, so it's a material that's very soft, very comfortable, moisture wicking, antimicrobial. Again, take these out, throw them in the washer, you're good to go. And the reason that this is also a safety feature with those magnets is that the easier that you can get the cheek pads out of the helmet. So if a rider goes down, you got to get the helmet off of his head. You want to be able to get these out easily, so it's not going to put any additional forces there. So I'm a big fan of these. Now I'll pull out the comfort liner. 2 snaps in the back, 2 in the front. So with that comfort liner, you can see, again, very comfortable. You've got a lot of channels that are cut into that, and also you got a fair amount of padding here, which is also nice. That is another thing I noticed too with the fit. With the Moto-9 Carbon Flex, one thing that I wasn't the biggest fan of is I didn't feel like there was a lot of padding on the comfort liner. I felt like if I pressed down on the top of the helmet, I could feel the EPS liner right away. With this, I feel like they added more padding to the comfort liner, which I was glad to see they did. All right, so on the inside here, you got a lot going on. Very different looking than the Carbon Flex. So you have 2 layers of EPS. With the Carbon Flex, they had that 3-layer impact absorption system. But now what you're getting is you have 2 EPS liners. The first one that you're looking at, you can see a ton of cutouts. Again, we're talking about airflow. But what they've done now is that you can see these darker points. And this is actually EPP, just like we had on those bumpers on the outside of the helmet. And the EPP is, you can just feel it a little bit firmer than the EPS. So they've put that in the areas where they want to maximize the impact absorption. And then you have your EPS, which is expanded polystyrene, which we've seen in helmets for years now, which does a great job of impact absorption. So that's your first EPS liner. And you will see too, this is also prepared for the eject helmet removal system. That does not come with the helmet, but you can pick that up separately. That is a safety feature that all pro racers are required to wear in the United States. So in Supercross and Motocross, you'll see the guys utilizing this. It's an airbag system essentially. You put it inside here, there's a hose that comes out the back of the helmet, and what they do is they pump that up and it'll just kind of help expand and push the helmet off the rider's head a little bit easier. All right, so you've got your first layer of EPS, and then underneath that, you have another EPS liner. But here's what's unique is they teamed up with MIPS to make a custom MIPS liner system for this helmet, and that's where they're getting that name Spherical Technology. And so what they call is just a ball and socket. So you see this second layer, you see how it has the red coating on there? It's still EPS, but what they've done is they call it over bonded, and basically the same material that you would see with just the standard MIPS liner, the yellow liner that we see in a lot of helmets, they have coated this entire inner liner EPS with that. So basically that whole second EPS liner acts as the MIPS liner. And then you can see you've got these little yellow pieces inside here, which are just helping with the movement of it. But with this ball and socket spherical design, it's allowing this liner to basically move in any direction. And it's actually got a lot of movement to it. And when it comes to MIPS, that stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. The idea behind that is when you crash and you go down, you don't want to have a sudden stop. You want the head to continue rotating inside the helmet to help reduce and disperse those forces to the head and to the brain. And so that's what you're getting here. But again, it's just a custom system that's allowing this to really move easily in any direction, which I think is pretty dang cool. So you've still got 2 EPS liners, so great impact absorption, but then you've got good directional rotation as well. So pretty unique with what they've done there. And again, you can see a ton of cutouts to help that airflow. And that is it. That is the new Moto-10 spherical helmet from Bell. Very unique, very different looking. I'm a big fan. Again, you're getting the latest and greatest from Bell. If you guys have questions or comments, want to get those answered, so make sure to leave those below. To grab yours today, you can click on the link or head over to RockyMountainATVMC.com. As always, orders over $75 ship free. If you like this video, we have a lot more great product spotlights on all the other helmets that we carry. So if you're not quite sure, if you haven't made up your mind, give those a watch to help you decide. I'm Chase at Rocky Mountain. We'll see you on the trails.